Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 32 of our Get Up and Go challenge. My head's in a bubble and I'm hoping this doesn't have terrible sound and that you can hear me. I'm not sure, I've never used this filter before. But I wanted to talk about quickly as we head into day 32. We're coming into the home stretch, right? We're over 3/4 of the way done with the 40-day free Get Up and Go challenge. And I want to check in and ask, how are you doing? How are you feeling about going through the soap process? Do you feel like you have got it down now? Do you understand what the 4 steps are of soap to handle any challenge, any problem, any dilemma, any change that comes your way? And if not, ask questions in the comments below. We'll do a live Q&A session. Now, what's next? What is next with respect to the soap bottle? We've gone through our 7, we haven't gone through all 7, we've gone through 5 of the 7 areas. At least I have. You might be working on the same area each time we go through the soap model because that's what you want to improve the most in your life. I have gone through, I did physical first, financial second, relationships third, then I do mental, then emotional, and now what's next? What is next of the 7 areas that I'm going to do? I am going to pick on spiritual, right? I'm going to discuss and use and apply the soap model over the next 4 days, starting tomorrow, to my spiritual well-being, my spiritual health. Now this one's a tough one for me. Is it okay? Have I said that about all of them, right? Personal development and becoming the best version of myself, it's always a challenge, right? And that's what's fun about it, is it's a challenge towards something that I want to achieve. I want to get better. I want to be a better human being all the time. Do I succeed? Heck no. Sometimes I'm horrible, just like other human beings. Sometimes our dark side comes out and we say things or do things that we think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that or did that. Remember when I was married and I was having a disagreement and I was having a full out flat screaming match argument with my ex-husband in the garage because we figured that if we went out in the garage to have a discussion, the kids wouldn't hear it. Well, of course, the sound filters right downstairs to where they usually were anyway, which is naive and stupid and ignorant and selfish on our part, right? It was dumb. And I remember having a particular discussion and argument with him where I had that out of body experience, and I was raising my voice and upset with him about something to the point where I could see myself floating above my head and saying, oh my gosh, I'm really upset about this. I need to calm down. And I don't know if you've ever had one of those, but it was one of those, who the heck is this person that's screaming? Because normally I'm not a screamer. I get a little impassioned and worked up about stuff, but it was one of those situations where we were having a core values clash. And something he had done was absolutely positively against my core values, and I was flipping out about it. I was absolutely beside myself. Hopefully, the fact that I can still remember that is unique in of itself, which tells me that I don't behave that way very often. But it was one of those things where it's like, this is not me. I could clearly see, this is not me. This is not how I want to show up in the world. This is not how I want to behave. So personal development is for me, it's just it's not even optional. For me, it's I must do this. I must always be learning and growing and looking for ways to be a better human being. And again, like I said, doesn't mean I'm always a great human being. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean I don't say stupid stuff or make mistakes, especially as my vision has gotten wonky. I make a lot more typos and a lot more mistakes. But that's actually maybe a lot less judgmental, because I used to be one of those people that I'd read a book and, there's 200 pages that are perfect, but there's 1 or 2 that have a typo on them. And would I focus on the 1 or 2 pages that had the typo? No, I pretty much get the message out of the book, but I also noticed the 1 or 2 pages that had the typo. And really, does that matter? Does that take anything away from the context of the book or the material or the thing that we're trying to learn? Absolutely not. But a lot of times in life, we get tripped up over what isn't perfect yet, instead of focusing on all of the things that are awesome and that we should be grateful for. So today, I think I already announced that I was going to go through all 7 of the areas of my life throughout this 40-day challenge. So it's spiritual time. It's turn for me to discuss and work on that. Now, one thing about spiritual well-being and our spiritual health is so personal, of course, right? It is who we are. It is our being, and we define it differently for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us has a different amount of connection or awakening to who we really are, what our spirit is. You know, I have done a lot of things and been through a lot of workshops and things where we tap into, you know, there's the person that we are on a conscious level and that we show up as. You know, we get up, we get dressed, we brush our teeth, we interact with other human beings and the people in our lives and go throughout our day. That's our physical being, our physical human beingness. This is our life, right? This is our life on planet Earth. And then in each and every one of us, and I think we talked about this briefly during the mental section of going through the SOAP model, there's a bigger, silent, connected version of ourselves, and whether you call it your soul, your spirit, I call it my big me or big you, big you, big me. So it's kind of like my physical being is my little me, and it is, you know, pretty short, so I'm literally physically small compared to most human beings. But my big me is my spiritual being, and however you define that, however you see that, however you feel connected or disconnected from that. Again, we talked about that in emotions too. Our emotional guidance system helps us know how connected or disconnected we are from who we really are. And again, what you believe about humanity and life hereafter. You know, my niece absolutely positively believes wholeheartedly that this life is the only life she has. So whatever happens here is what happens here, and then there's nothing else after. She's an atheist, which is, you know, and this isn't about Christianity, it isn't about religion, and it may be for you, but you have to decide what spirituality means to you, and how connected or disconnected you are from yourself or from from God or whatever you believe. My spirituality, my beliefs about religion and spirituality and connectedness has changed dramatically throughout my life. Now, there could be people that argue that it changes dramatically, or you're born knowing everything and then you forget, and then it's relearning everything that you knew when you first were born. I don't know. It's up to you to decide that. I've read a lot of stuff and done a lot of work on me personally, so I have my own set of spiritual beliefs, and each of us has our own set of spiritual beliefs. You have yours, I have mine, and it's probably slightly different than everybody else's, right? It's up to us to decide what is right and what feels right for us. So spirituality, I'm going to go through the soul process on it, and I'll share my experiences and my beliefs, and not to convince anyone, just to demonstrate this is the kind of work I'm doing as I go through increasing my spiritual health and my spiritual well-being. Now, I gave myself a 7 on spiritual capacity and where I feel, how comfortable I feel. And to me, how I set these numbers up is just a snapshot of how I'm feeling on the day and the time that I go through and ask myself, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, with respect to relationships and contribution, how am I feeling? How am I feeling today about each of those areas on a scale of 1 to 10? And I did this, beginning of COVID, I actually did this great graphic and put my ratings in there. And about once a month, I tap into this and I ask myself, how am I doing? How am I feeling in each of these areas of my life? And I guess I'm still close to those, but I'm improving, right? I always want to be improving and moving up the scale for me personally. I think I discussed, I don't ever expect myself to be a 10 physically, not even close. But in other areas, I'm gonna continue to ascend and get better and be a better human being. You know, both me, the physical human being me, and then the spiritual me, my essence of who I am. And it's one of those areas of us that most of us hide and put a lot of masks on. Me, I have a bubble head, right? We put a lot of masks on that because it is such a personal being. But it's actually interesting because when we are being in alignment with who we really are and the things that are right for us, our spirit grows, right? Our light shines brighter, if you believe that. I believe in light and darkness, right? Good and evil. We live in a dual universe, so I am always trying to move toward the light, right? I want to move toward the light. I don't want to move toward the dark. I'm looking for the positives. I'm looking for the light feelings. I'm looking for love and gratitude and contribution, things like that. So spiritually is spirituality and spiritual health is the one I'm working on now. And I will, of course, we'll get into the S tomorrow, but it's obviously one that I am struggling a little bit with putting into words. And that's because it's more of an esoteric feeling type of system, at least for me now. Again, it didn't used to be. I was raised Catholic. I was Catholic, didn't go to Catholic school. I was always jealous of the kids that went to Catholic school because I felt like they got a better education. So lo and behold, when I had children, I sent them to the Catholic school till 8th grade. And, they have mixed feelings on that, but they it was good and bad like anything else. Was it a great fit for them? I think it was a good fit for them. They both have ADHD and learning differences. They're not challenges, learning differences. And so in some ways that was not great because of the tools and skills and the understanding at the private school level versus at this private school level, the Catholic private school level versus the public school. But then we got to public high school, and it turned out for my son especially it was worse than the private school. So lessons learned all along the way, right? That's what our life is about, experiencing different things, dealing with them, and that's what challenges are all about. Life is going to change and challenge us at every step of the way. So often we think and we believe that, oh, when this happens, my life is going to be smooth sailing and just hunky-dory. And then we get to that level and we're like, oh, guess what? Now I have bigger problems, or I have different problems. It's not always smooth sailing. It's all in how we approach it. So today, your action item is to decide which of these 7 areas you're going to go through the SOAP model with me through over the next 4 days. Are you going to do physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationships, contribution, or financial? Which of those are you going to pick? Pick one, share that in the comments below. That's all you need to do today is pick the area that we're going to work on, or that you're going to work on. I know what I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on spiritual. Pick the area that you want to work on. Maybe it's an area that you worked on already. Maybe you're just like have no interest in thinking about your spiritual well-being. You might not. Maybe, hey, I'm fine. I'm good. I go to church every Sunday. That's all I need to do. And if whatever, then don't do this area. Pick financial or physical or mental or whatever area that you want to see the most gain in, and go through the SOAP model again with us, the SOAP framework. Again, we're going to do it 2 more times. Might as well warn you, I'm going to do spiritual, and then of course the last time through I'll do contribution, because that is the last area that I have not yet really talked about. If you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything, if you're like, I don't want to wash up, I don't want to clean up my act. Well, it's why I called it wash up, and wash up again, because sometimes we don't think that we want to do something over and over again. But let me ask you, how good would you feel about yourself in any way, shape, or form if you never brushed your teeth? How good would you feel about yourself if you never washed up, if you never took a shower or washed your mangy hair or did anything like that? It doesn't last forever. Yeah, well, I took a bath 2 months ago. Okay, well, you need another one. I brushed my teeth in 1999. Okay, well, that might be why you don't have any teeth anymore. So it's the things that matter are the things that we have to do over and over again and repeatedly. And this gives us a process and a framework for dealing with whatever shows up in our life, whatever area it shows up in our life, to ensure that we have the best possible outcome for us each and every time. So, see you tomorrow for S in SOAP as I apply it to the spiritual aspect of my life. So, have an awesome day. I will, of course, see you tomorrow.